Hi peons, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to pop my shit because I have to. So honestly, today we're gonna do a Sunshine's Bakery, and I thought, hey, should I do double whammy or should I just like kind of get y'all 1 point? So instead of just giving y'all a double drilling or giving y'all what you call it, we are gonna make this a two-parter. So in the first part I want to talk about what I made, okay? And what I kind of made was this chocolate chip cookie cake thingy, not from scratch. And I had an epiphany while talking about it, so I'm going to bring it up here. I like baking from scratch because baking from scratch lets you see the process. Like, you see this shit right here? I don't know what technically went wrong, but I don't like the way it's good. I just don't like the way that it came out, like texturally speaking. And if I was to do it from scratch, and like I do, because I have like because I've been cooking and baking for a very long time, because my grandma taught me this shit. If I would have did it from scratch, I kind of would have known what went wrong and how to fix it versus getting something that's instantaneously. I think we should learn to enjoy the process and the learning process just as much, so that when we do get in a place where when something goes wrong, and like, i.e. example, if you're really good at, let's just say, sewing, and if you only know how to sew one thing, right, and know how to sew in one space, right, and you never mastered the sewing machine, because the sewing machine is its own monster in itself. The sewing machine is not hard once you have an idea of it, but a lot of the fixes are easy, but it's just not what you call it. So like, let's say you already have an automatically set up sewing machine, and let's say you're sewing, right, and you only know how to sew on automatically set up sewing machines. If you just sew your ass off and you just get good at sewing on an automatic sewing machine, if something breaks and you never had to take apart a whole sewing machine and like get to the bobbin and a bottom and what you call it, and then know when to turn off the power source, when to what you call it, how to change the needle, how to do anything of those things, it'll take the fun and enjoyment out of sewing, and you'll be like, damn, I really hate fucking sewing. Like, sewing sucks. Like, I remember when I learned how to play piano, when I had to get to the key part and like actually memorize the music, I hated fucking piano for a good little minute because learning notes was hard for me. So I believe that if we learn how to actually enjoy the process instead of getting to the end results, we will actually know exactly what we're doing. So when the end results don't come out how we want to, we can know what to tweak and what to fix. Which kind of brings me to the point of conversation with me and my best friend this morning. So my best friend is coming to see me. Yay, 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 yay. I'm so excited. I'm overly excited. Like, my excitement level is at a fucking 20 on a 10. Meaning, like, bitch, I'm ecstatic to see this motherfucker. Like, you see me. So I'm excited to see him. But me and him had a conversation today, and the conversation kind of went something like, how do you feel? I don't know how we got here, but the conversation got to like raising children. And he was like, he was saying something about like him raising his kids, and like how if he's seeing his daughter fall down and cry, he'd be there for her, but if it was his son, he'd be like, suck it up, and like kind of like that type of shit. But without saying that shit, he was like, oh, if my son fall, this is you can have friends and y'all could disagree, but he was like, what did he say? What did he say that pissed me off? He was like, if my son cry, I'm gonna look at him and be like, yo, get up. Like, suck that shit up. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, if he had a daughter and his daughter fell or some shit, he'd be like right there babying her, trying to make sure that she was okay. And I said, why would you do that for your daughter but not do it for your son? He was like, oh, because it's different. And I said, that's the problem. This is why and part of me wants to say, this is why you're single now. Because it's like, my feelings got hurt. I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, this is why you're single now. You know what I'm saying? And then I realized, like, no, the reason why he's single right now is because I know the real reason why he's single. But the reason why people haven't decided to procreate with him yet, or decide to give him kids, is because the women who think like him, he don't want. And the women who think like me, i.e., think with the ideology of I don't want to raise my kids with the same type of that we teach our boys. Like, that's not something I want to raise my children in. And he was like, he liked those type of women, right? So women who are, because like the women that he talks to, he says they remind them of like me in certain areas, not all the areas, because these bitches could never be me, but like in the area of like how I think, like when it comes down to raising children, having kids and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, like I don't want to be a single mom. And I get that being a single mom, you could be married and then become a single mom. You could do whatever. I just don't want to have kids because there's a possibility of me becoming a single mom. And for me, myself, and I, raising kids is already hard with two people. What you gonna do when you drop that bitch down to one? And you don't even like the partner or the other party, and then you have to start doing shit that you don't want to do, and now you have resentment towards it. Because I'm telling you right now, if I was to ever get married and my husband was to cheat on me and we had kids, he's a single daddy. I'm putting myself on child support, not even putting myself on child support, but I'm not doing none of that shit. And he was like, oh, I can't believe you gonna make a nigga a single. I most definitely would. If I ever give up my body to have kids, because I personally don't want to have kids, and my partner is so set on dead ass having kids, like, mind you, he'd be a single daddy. But anyways, let's go get into Sunshine's Bakery real quick before I even get into all of this other stuff, because today this is not even a topic, and I don't want to go down a deep rabbit hole of this shit, because I know I probably done pissed off a couple of men or a couple of bitches who's like, I can't believe you'd have kids, you don't want to be a kid, you don't want to be a mother, you don't know I don't want to be a mother. No, motherhood is not something that I want to choose. Like, if there is hoods that I could choose to go to, bitch, motherhood is not a hood that I want to go to. And shout out to all the people who have kids and shit like that. I am proud of y'all. Y'all make it look easy, but bitch, I know it's hard as fuck. And shout out to y'all. And to the women who I offended when I was talking about y'all being single moms and shit, I apologize. But I just didn't want to have kids, and y'all was making me feel bad for not wanting to have kids. And I was just like, bitch, you're a single mom. Like, be fucking for real. And the way you getting scrutinized, bitch, I'm not trying to even touch a tip of that scrutiny or even want to possibly give up my life for kids, because, yeah, I get nerd brain. And the nerd brain in me seen in like a study that most women die giving birth during surgery. The trauma, PTSD, not getting their body back. There's a chemical, like their body never goes back to what it used to be. Your anus corrupt. I like pain in the bedroom, bitch. I love it. Punish me, baby. You know what I'm saying? But, and that's only to a certain extent. Like, I even have safe words for that shit. But to rip my anus to give out a life, and I possibly may die and become depressed afterwards and have to spend all that money, because as a bitch who's gone to therapy, as a bitch who's actively in therapy, like, this shit costs. Like, people think like, oh, it's just so free, it's so free. Y'all, it costs money to go to therapy. It costs money to go to talk to somebody. It costs money to get into a space. And then you have to make time for that. Like, motherhood is a hood that's hard as fuck. So when people choose motherhood, congratulations to y'all. But get off our dicks for us who don't want to have kids. Because I get it. And you can argue with yourself in the comments. I'm applauding you for being a mother, but for me, myself, now, I don't want to have kids. You can say that makes me less of a woman, or not woman enough, or not feminine enough, or fit for y'all to be, but that's not today's video. Not at all. And I know I don't piss some of y'all off, and I didn't even get into the real video. So y'all know how we do. Puff, puff, pass. Start the session. Let's go. All right, so to first off, getting in with today's topic, is there a war on black men and the passport bros? And yeah, there is no war on the black man. I have some unpopular opinions. I'm gonna just say them. There is no war on a passport bros. There's no war on black men. I believe that there is a war on black men. And I know you're like, you're fucking contradicting yourself. But the war that y'all think is on y'all against women not liking y'all and not wanting to be with y'all is because y'all are shitty fucking partners. Like, the war that I'm talking about, like, yes, there's a certain war on black men. Just there's a certain war on black women as well. However, it is not from the people who want to see y'all win. The war that y'all are going, that black men and the passport bros are fighting, is within themselves. I basically seen a passport bro who was 23 talking about how abortion is wrong and how women shouldn't be doing this and doing all of that. And then when asked what did he bring to the table, because this is a conversation he wanted to have, he was like, I'm scattered. I'm scattered brain right now. First, I want to start off with, is there a war on the passport bros? There's no war on the passport bros. Nobody gives a fuck if y'all go overseas. Nobody gives a fuck what y'all got going on. What they do give a fuck about is y'all going over there to try to abuse places and things like that. The passport bros have gotten so notoriously for literally being fucking people who, they call it sexual tourism, right? Sexual tourism is basically when they come out and they go overseas for sexual tourism. So basically in America they call y'all 304s, hoes, sluts, bitches. They say I don't deserve shit. But they'll go overseas, whether it's to Brazil, wherever the fuck they want to go at, wherever they haven't really set their red flag radar off at. They're going over there and they're paying for sex. And then they come back to America and they say, oh, the women are so submissive, the women are so this. They're going to these places where they believe that these women are poor, stupid, do not have common sense, and then when the women show them that they're the same as American women, because they so notorious for, well, I'm going to go find me a soft feminine woman, someone who's gonna submit. Nigga, you was a loser in America, you're gonna be a loser overseas. And the only bitches who fucking with you is the bitches who taking your money. But they're not saying that part though. And then they're getting exposed and they're saying all this other shit. And if you're a passport bro and you get upset, I don't give a fuck how you feel. Period. And it's still a war on the black man. The mental health of black men, I feel like some of y'all feel like it's a war on y'all, but the war is in yourselves. I believe there's a war on black men like I believe there's a war on black women. However, I believe that there is a war. The war that I'm talking about on black men is the mental health war on black men. A lot of y'all feel like y'all can't go to therapy or y'all don't want to go to therapy and all this other shit. And quite frankly, it is eating your ass up alive. Yum, 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 yum. It's eating up y'all to the core because the same patriarchal system that y'all want to practice, the men who refuse to go to therapy and unlearn all the toxic behaviors and shit like that, instead of saying, hey, my mama did this, my mama did that, my mama was a strong, independent woman, she took care of the whole household. You barely seen your mama. You have a lot of resentment towards your mama that's not directed towards your daddy because he just got up and left. You upset, you mad as fuck. You owe these bitches ain't shit, these hoes ain't shit. However your mama had to do it, she was a 304, whether she had a 9 to 5, whether she worked 3 jobs, whether however she is, y'all is going out there getting mad at black women. This is why I did not want to be a single mom, because I'd be damned if I have a fucking child or children and they sit there and they start talking shit about black women and black men, especially black women. Because one thing I am is a black woman. And I get it, you a black man and other shit like that, but bitch, I'd be damned if I have a little fucker that comes out here thinking that, oh man, I'm mad at the world, I'm mad at this, I'm mad at that. No, nigga, you mad at your fucking daddy for walking out on you and not showing you what a real man was. You're mad at the influences around you for not being positive enough for you to understand that yes, you can have the hood in you, but you can also have common sense as well. It is nothing wrong with struggling, as long as you ain't struggling fucking forever. Y'all be in a struggle Olympics y'all whole entire life. Y'all be like, it's 30 years of struggling, and yes, you're gonna have to struggle to get some shit. You're gonna have to, like, I'm telling you, if you think you're gonna go through life and it's just gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy, like life is just gonna be this shit, it's not. I had to struggle I had to struggle to get some shit. I had to struggle when I first started doing some shit. As a teacher, when I first became a teacher, boy, I thought I was the bee's knees. Bitch, I was up in that bitch like, ah. Bitch, I had to go through the struggle of having to deal with parents, people, a whole bunch of other shit. I had to learn skills that I didn't even think that I would fucking need. So when it comes down to the war on black men, there is going to be a struggle that's going to be inside of you, and it's going to be with yourself. The war that you're going to have with you, that you're going to have before you bring out war into the world, you should have a war within yourself. The things that you don't like about yourself, the things that you like about yourself, the things that you want to do, the things that you want to improve on. I believe that so many black men get so upset with black women for being the women who they are, but y'all don't get it. While y'all was growing up and your mama was ha kiki coddling y'all because y'all get raised different, I eat a conversation with me and my best friend earlier. My best friend literally said that his family is practicing the same shit that his mama and his mama's mamas taught them. And no offense to this, cause I love my best friend, but some of the teaching they have are practicing patriarchy, misogyny, and misogynoir. And sometimes it's practicing fucking misogyny and misogynoir. Like some of the politics that they have in there is coddle the women, toughen up the men. Men aren't allowed to cry, but the women are. The women are supposed to be pretty princesses. They're talking about some you know what I'm saying? Like some of those practices they bringing along. And that shit's not gonna work today. That shit's not gonna work. That shit didn't work back then. That shit, when it comes down to raising kids, you should raise your kids the fucking same. They should all be emotionally stable. They should have a certain level of manners. They should have a certain level of responsibility up underneath that damn belt by the time they hit certain milestones for them to be a healthy human being. I play The Sims a lot, right? And Sims is like actual simulation. The only thing is The Sims is gonna call you out on everything. In The Sims, my Sims were having children, and the children that the parents that my children didn't like actually parented and actually was an active part in their life, like helping them with their homework, doing all these other things, showing them what's right and wrong, disciplining them when they needed to be disciplining them, doing certain things. Those kids came out great. They were self-assured. They were happy people. And even if they were evil or lazy or shit like that, they had a certain amount. They were better human beings in the world. When I let my Sims just have kids and let them and treat them and parent y'all how some of y'all say I should parent y'all kids, like with the girls, oh, if it's a dude, he need to toughen up. If it's a girl, she need to cry it out. Them kids was fucked up. They was full blown menace to society, they life, and I let it go on autoplay. Because I'm telling you right now, where you are at in life is because of the consequences that you're facing. A lot of y'all think consequences is just, oh, it's just this bad thing. No, consequences are results of things that you've done. If I study my ass off in high school and I was doing, and if I would have went to fucking FAMU, the consequences of me going to fucking FAMU would have been I would have went a whole different fucking path. I dropped out of college. These are the results of me dropping out of college. To the bitches who did graduate college and didn't use their degree, here are the consequences of you going to school for all these years, whether you was conscious or unconscious of the shits that was plaguing you or not, or whether you took a Hanson's, whatever it is. If you don't do right, you will never get right. And I think the problem that y'all is facing and that y'all struggling with in real life is y'all want and y'all expect people to show up and show out for y'all, and y'all don't want to do the fucking work. Y'all don't. Y'all want everybody to show up and do the parts of y'all stuff that y'all don't want to touch on. I know a nigga right now hate women, practice misogyny, misogynoir, and a patriarch. And a patriarch for him as a black man does not work. He don't get the same benefit of the doubt that his counterpart may get. He's not getting none of that shit. The patriarch, the systems that black men practice, that some black men practice, not all black men. They practice the patriarchy, which only works for cis white males. And for it to work for white women, they have to give up autonomy. We at the bottom, baby. If you ain't white, it ain't right. Just period. You have to give off black cis male, cis heterosexual male, to receive the benefits. You have to give up autonomy as a white woman. And if, as a black woman who has actually benefited off of white men having a fetish for her, because I knew, because I'm telling y'all right now, I used to have a sugar daddy. My sugar daddy used to love the fuck out of me because I was his fetish. You know what I'm saying? I'm still his fetish to this day, baby. Wow. And I know it worked because I was his fetish because I was the black girl. You know what I'm saying? Fetish round. Wow. Black women get sexualized at a young age. This man sees me, every time he sees me, he say I get finer and finer. The white old man told me a secret. I really can't really give y'all too many secrets of the wealthy man. But he basically said that he liked me because I talked back and did other shit like that. He said, as a black woman, because these are the stereotypes placed on me, is actually sexy. He say white woman. He will never do that. He said he had 4 white bottom bitches who he was barely paying shit, and they had to do everything. That's why I didn't have to give up the poom poom unless I wanted to, and I never gave it up. He asked me to be his girlfriend, but I was like, nah, cause he told me too much shit about him. Honestly, he told me too much shit about him, and he's a man of wealth and means. And as much as it would have been nice to have some wealth and means when I was in my get a bag phase, and I'm still in my get a bag phase, but I just do it a lot safer now. I'm not doing that shit. I used to get paid a pretty penny every week, and my money came on time. Yeah, I think y'all some real fraud niggas. You ain't move no real money. And keep it. Anyways, but no, like, back to what I was saying, like, is there a war on the black men? I believe that black men have to go to war with themselves first. Like, I had to go to war on myself first. Like, I used to think that black men used to be the problem, and we as black women could do no wrong, no evil. Yeah, I went to war on myself. And the war that was going on inside of me, after I found peace within myself and I figured out and I forgave myself and I decided moving forward how it was going to be and all the other shit I wanted to practice, y'all, I didn't do certain things anymore. So when black men say everybody's just attacking them and don't want to see them win, or they just attacking us, they telling us to go to therapy. Why would I sit down and listen to a nigga? And nigga, they be like, why would I listen to a nigga tell me this shit when he, like, bro, everybody needs therapy. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, bitch, you need therapy. You gonna go through some type of trauma in your life. Something you don't need to talk to somebody who got a fucking degree who can teach you some shit. Some of these degrees, yes, are fucked up. Like, mind you, that's why if you black, you go to a black therapist, not a white one. Cause I'm telling you right now, white psychologists are way different from black psychologists, and when it comes down to therapy, baby, this is why I do a whole video on that, on how to find the right therapist and shit like that, dating therapist, shit like that. But y'all really need to hear this shit. The war that black men who feel like they have it unfair, they feel like they're being just attacked and taken out on, the war that you're having is in yourself, and you need to go to therapy. You need to go to therapy. You sit in front of that lady, you need to go tell her, and she gonna tell you some shit about yourself that you don't want to hear. And it may be about your mama, it may be by your sister, it may be by yourself. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, therapy is not always gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. I remember when I first got into therapy and my therapist told me some shit, boy, I was mad. I was a mod woman, okay? Yeah, I switched. I went to 4 therapists before I sat down with the one I had before, because the first 2 I had were white therapists, and there was a real problem with them. They were racist, and not only were they racist, they kept on saying like little shit, and they kept on trying to get me on medication. So I had to leave from there because I was like, nah, I know what type of therapist they are. I went to another therapist. That didn't work out. I went to another therapist. I finally stuck with one. I remember sitting there talking to my therapist. My therapist said, you're the problem in your own life, and the war that you're having is in a war with yourself. You say X, Y, and Z. He said, yeah, these social things and these social norms are here, but what are you going to do to navigate them? Because unless they just drastically, magically change, which 9 out of 10, they're not just going to magically, drastically change. How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to move? Do you have X, Y, and Z? And that nigga used to get in my ass with questions that I didn't want to fucking answer. I used to be in therapy like, yeah, they cheated, but did you have to cheat back? Sure enough, did. I remember, y'all. I remember I was in therapy one day and my therapist said, did you have to cheat back? I said, I shown up the motherfucking did. He said, how did it make you feel? I said, it made me feel like this. He said, are you happy? I said, no. He said, are you this? I said, no. And then by the time we got to the bottom of it, he said, so you doing all of this shit because you want to do it. And I said, no, I'm not doing it. I said, because he made me. He said, did he put a gun in your head? Make you to go back out there and cheat? And I said, no. You know he cheated. So I used to be in therapy just like this. I don't want to be the problem. I don't want to be the Yeah, I had to realize I was the fucking problem. Me not loving myself enough, me not showing up for myself. And I realized a lot of this shit happening like, yeah. And then that shit hurt my feelings because that's what I didn't want to admit that the people who I love and had closest to my heart was the bad guys. You don't want to hear that shit. Out of all the things you want to hear, you don't want to hear, oh, you know what? The reason why I'm so fucked up in this area is because of X, Y, and Z, bitch. Because you'll be sitting there looking just like this. God damn it. And then if you love them, then that's a whole. So the enemy that you're facing is in yourself. And when working with that, that's why they say continue to go to therapy, continue to do this, because once you figure out the problem is, now you got to figure out how you gonna navigate with them. Because 9 out of 10, you just not gonna cut their ass off. And if you could do that, that's fine. But even then, even then, your therapist gonna get on you about that shit. And some other shit, because yes, you can use a technique, but some techniques are not supposed to be used for their situations, bitch. Sometimes silence is the answer. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes getting stern is the answer, and sometimes getting stern is not the answer. Sometimes raising your voice is the answer, sometimes it's not. Sometimes niceness is the answer, and sometimes niceness is not the answer. So this is what it's gonna be like. That shit is gonna hurt your feelings. The war that you're feeling, this imaginary war that you're feeling in your heart, is with yourself. And you have to figure out where you went wrong at. And sometimes you don't have to admit that the people who you love taught you wrong. My grandmother, that old school love don't work no more. My grandmother told me some shit, and some bad advice she told me was, you don't marry for love, you marry for money, because you can't get all things in your marriage. Boy, I could make $1, bitch. 20, bitch, I can make real money. And I don't gotta do half the shit that y'all think I gotta do to make it either, because I got the gift of gab. My grandma taught me, you don't never trust a nigga for shit. You do it yourself. You independent. You know what that taught me? You can't trust these niggas for shit. And I put that shit up in my mind for a long time. I ain't trust niggas for shit. And when I needed to trust a nigga, I was like, nah, I can't trust this nigga. And the nigga who I did trust, I chose the wrong nigga because I didn't practice the shit. Yes, you should be able to trust some people around you, but in order to trust somebody, you have to trust in your ability to judge a situation. This is where I say there's no real war against you. The real war that you're facing is on the inside of you, because only you know you. And if you don't trust your own self to make judgments by the people around you, because I'm telling you right now, I could see you, and if I feel that in my heart you a snake ass, fake ass, phony ass, fraudulent ass bitch, I'm not finna tell you I think you all of those things. I'm just not gonna fuck with you. I was right about this one girl. I told myself maybe I'm ODing, bitch. I said, oh, intuition went again. And everybody got it in them. They just have to learn how to love themselves. They just have to learn how to unlearn all that toxic shit. And it's okay. My grandma was wrong about a lot of shit. My grandma told me don't love a nigga if he ain't got no money for you and got a damn thing for you in your motherfucking name. She said, if that nigga come and you trying to treat you like a trick, she say, you show that nigga every reason why he ain't that. My grandma never told me that if a nigga can't treat you right, just fucking leave, because you'll waste all your time there. If a nigga come at me, treat me like a trick, and I don't feel like being tricked on or tricked out like that, a nigga can go to jail. Peace of mind. And I know some of y'all are like, oh man, you gonna look like a snitch. Nah, I look like I got peace of mind. I look like I can sleep at night. I look like I'm stress free. I look like I'm actually happy. I look and I feel like I did something that was for me and not for somebody else. I look like I made the right choice because I did make the right choice. So there's no real war going on with the passport bros or the angry black men who say they hate black women, or like, yes, there are certain wars that are actually attacking us, like racism and all that other shit. Those are real wars that we have to fight. But the wars that we say that we have in our community, the war is in yourself, baby. And that goes for men and women. And yeah, I want to say this. Don't let your anger distract you from the truth that you don't want to hear, that I said in this video. Because a lot of y'all going to be like, oh, bitch, your wig fucked up. You look like this. Y'all going to have a lot of shit to say. But the real war that you having on is going on the inside of you. Because you know that I said some shit that done triggered one of your soft spots that you ain't touched up yet. I still got some soft spots that I need to work on, and I work on them bitches. And I'm telling you right now, it's not fun working on them hoes. It's not. Motherfuckers be like, oh, it's fun to work on that shit. Where? 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 Being completely and utterly honest, ain't shit fun about half the shit, bro. Telling y'all right now, I used to get mad at single moms. Why? Because single moms always, because I couldn't, first of all, I can't have kids. Can't have kids. That's what they told me. And if I do have kids, it's going to be a hard pregnancy for me. But single moms was telling me that I should have kids, and I was so mad. I was like, I don't want to have kids. And I was just so afraid to come out there and say that, like, look, I can't have kids. But even if I could have kids, I wouldn't even want to have kids to begin with. So while y'all sitting there trying to make it seem like it's fun, it's not, because I see the other side of y'all where y'all say, being a mom is so great. And then it's the other times where y'all still struggling. And as much as I love y'all, I don't want to have kids, and I don't want to feel like I should be pressured to have kids. Cause this is a war that's going on. See, I'm questioning. Am I a woman enough? Does this make me a woman for me not wanting to have kids? The real problem I had was not with single moms. It's the fact that I didn't want to have kids, and my desire and the joy that I get from the possibility of me not being able to have kids made me ecstatic, bitch. That shit hurt. That shit, I was like, does that make me less of a woman? That's the war that I had to go in. And I said, bitch, my womanhood is defined by me. Not by what some man gonna say. Not by what somebody who don't like me gonna say. Not what you call it is. Because I'm telling y'all right now, anytime I think that I'm thinking too much of what somebody gonna say, I say, if nobody had an opinion about this and nobody had would I still do this shit? And the answer is yes, I would. I still be on YouTube talking shit. I still have my OnlyFans. I still have my podcast. I still be doing everything that I want to fucking do. Why? And I still won't want to have no motherfucking kids either. Next week, I'm going to come on here and talk about the dude who tried to get me pregnant and why we had to break up. Because, yeah. Anyways, that's been Sunshine Spickery. I really hope y'all enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it. And, yeah. The war is on the inside. And I said what I said. Go to hell. Love you. Bye, you guys.